What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and happy Monday to all of you out there. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. In today's video, I know that last week we had talked about my own personal opinions on the latest anniversary, which of course is ongoing in the King of Fighters All-Star, being the 4th anniversary, but I wanted to go ahead and take today as an opportunity to talk about how you guys feel about the 4th anniversary. So that's exactly what we're going to do in today's video, because last week I had posted a community poll over on my community tab, and I had asked you guys to rate this year's anniversary between 1 and 5, and yeah, you guys, as always, came out in droves for that. So we are going to talk about not only the results from that community poll, but also we're going to delve into the comment sections and read your guys' comments, just to get a feel for why you guys voted the way that you did. But before we go ahead and get into all of that and more, make sure if you guys haven't already done so, you smash that like button and subscribe. And without further ado, you already know what time it is. Cue that intro. Alright, you guys, like I said in the introduction, we are going to be taking a look at the results from our latest community poll over in our community tab. So if you guys have not voted on this thing yet, you may find it there and do so. But let's just go ahead and take a look at the results, then we'll take a look at the comments. So this time around, as always with any of my community polls, I've made it pretty simple on you guys. 3 days ago, I posted and asked, how would you rate the King of Fighters All-Star 4th anniversary update so far out of 5? Over 900 of you voted on this thing, so big shout out to all 987 of you who voted. I definitely appreciate it, but let's take a look at the results. So basically you had a very simple 1 through 5 grading system, with 5 being the most positive one that you could pick, and then 1 being the most negative. So let's take a look at how this panned out. So the people who voted for 5, it's amazing, the most positive possible option, came in at 4%. So 4% of the vote went to a 5, 10% went to a 4, I really like it. 52% went to 3, it's fine, which this is obviously going to be the big winner here. 16% went to the number 2 option of disappointed. And then of course, rounding out these numbers here, the number 1, this sucks option, came in at 18%. So if we really take a look at these numbers and suss them out, obviously the overwhelming vast majority of the community who voted on this poll just think that this is a mid anniversary. This is kind of just an average anniversary, kind of just in the middle with it. And I think that honestly, that's where I would have voted. Now, I did post this before I posted my video giving my thoughts on this update as a whole. So you guys could probably tell from watching that video, if you've seen it, link will be in the description, that I would kind of just live right here in the middle like you guys, it looks like. So I do think that this is a fair assessment from the majority of people, because I don't think, while it's definitely not a perfect update by any stretch of the imagination, especially by anniversary standards, I do think that what we got is good. It's just like kind of, again, mid. So I'm not surprised that that many people voted for this option. If I'm being honest, I thought that this might end up being the winner, but I am a little surprised by the numbers down here not being as high or any higher than they are, because I thought that based on the comments section, they were going to be much higher, but we'll talk about it. So that is pretty much going to be the winning number here, number 3. Now, as far as the overwhelmingly positive or negative options being 5 and 4 and 1 and 2 respectively, if we take a look at those, we'll start off at the top here. 4% voted for number 5 and 10% voted for number 4. So basically you have like a 14% here for the overwhelmingly positive numbers, and that doesn't really surprise me. I know that a lot of people, just based on the comments in my comment section, again, weren't necessarily the most overly happy about how this whole thing had turned out. So these options not really getting as many of the votes doesn't really shock me at all. And then by contrast to that, if we take a look at number 1 and number 2, getting 16 and 18% of the vote respectively, and being significantly higher, obviously doubling up on these 2 options that we just talked about, it doesn't surprise me again. You know, I figured that these numbers here were going to be pretty high. Again, I'm kind of surprised they weren't higher, but at the same time, that was just based on my own observations from the comments. So obviously the squeaky wheels are always going to be the loudest, but you know, taking a look at the numbers, I'm not really shocked by any of this. Again, I would have voted for the mid option myself, and 52% of you did vote for that, which honestly, it's a passing grade for Netmarble. So, you know, they shouldn't be too upset about that. I doubt they even would care or would even see this, but you know, I digress. So looking at the numbers here, none of this really surprises me all that much, but I do thank you guys for voting on this. But in order to expand upon this and get a better idea of why you guys voted the way that you did, as always, I figured that we would just go ahead and jump into the comments section here on this poll and see how you guys were feeling. So let's just go ahead and take a look at them here. Now, this one here by Alvin Santosa, we're going to start off with here because this is going to be the one that you guys clearly liked the most here. So let's take a look at it. The game has been going downhill since the introduction of EX characters, in my opinion. It's very hard to get a regular FES already, but now there are EX characters that are more harder to get and no easy way to awaken them to a higher level. It's just so sad because I really love the game, but the way EX characters are introduced ruined it for me. So Alvin, I see that you got a lot of upvotes on this comment, and I have to be honest with you, as far as I'm not going to be as negative about this. However, the EX thing has really tempered my expectations for this game as well, and really kind of driven down my overall excitement from banner to banner also. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it hasn't. I think that you guys can tell that in my tone and the way that I receive these banners now and the way I actually pull on them. I'm very picky. I used to pull on everything, and now I kind of just will pull here and there unless it's a character I really, really like. And I'm really not as excited going into pulling on these banners anymore because I actually kind of dread it. I'm terrified of pulling on EX banners because of the way that they're structured. And I really don't see EX characters as being positive for the game in any way, shape, or form. I really don't. I think EX characters are nothing but negative. Really, I do. And I think that that is a fair criticism because it didn't need to happen. What we had already had as far as the structure of how to make our characters was already kind of, it was kind of towing the line of being something that was working for a lot of people out there. And with the EX system, with the rates such as they are, and the way that they have structured it to where basically they wanted you to have to go for the A5 in order to get the full benefit of the EX character to begin with, I just don't like it. You know, it's just one of those things where I do think and I do see why people are so negative on it, and I agree with it. I'm really not a big fan of it. If we could go back in time and not have EX fighters, I would be all for it. But unfortunately, we're stuck with them. So I definitely can see why so many people like this comment, because I agree with the fact, well, I agree with the sentiment here. I really, really do. I'm not as negative on the game as it sounds like you might be right now, but as far as the EX thing, yeah, we're in complete agreement on that. So thank you for that one. So let's take a look here. Bro Patapov says, I rated 2 because besides a little extra free rubies for people ready to spend 30,000 AP, this event is just like any other. Honestly, you're probably going to be spending a decent amount more than that, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. But yeah, I mean, a 2, I could see why you would vote a 2, Grow. I definitely could. It definitely was not as rewarding this year, unless there's more stuff coming, which, as we've established, maybe there will be, maybe there won't, but unless there's more stuff coming, it definitely has not been as rewarding. Viscera says, I now seem to aim for the EX Fest cards. The new card sets can increase your Trash Fest, SS, or BS characters. Yeah, I mean, any of the cards I've always told you guys are always something you should really take a look at and always try to prioritize, because cards age better. They get power crept less, typically. Now, of course, with what we've been getting with these cards, we'll have to wait and see how this whole thing pans out, because we've been getting some very experimental card sets recently. But historically speaking, cards have always been something that is a little bit more future-proof than characters, because characters have suffered from power creep so much. So yeah, if you want to go for cards over characters, go for it. But definitely always try to make sure that you take a really hard look at the card sets and the option cards that come out with any of these banners, because typically speaking, they're going to be something you're really going to want more than likely, or you're at least going to want to make sure that it's not something you're going to not miss once it leaves, because if you're going to find yourself missing it, you may want to pick it up, because they don't rerun these things almost ever. So just keep that in mind. So Leo Kang talking about rates again. The banner rates, bro, especially in the JP version. 18k rubies got nothing, but the Korean version really amazing for 23k. So it looks like you got lucky on one of your accounts, which is good. Yeah, the rates this time around, being that the rates are a little bit better than normal, right? Like a little bit. So it's one of those things where, yeah, sure, it's different. The rates are this time around. It's a little bit better, but I've noticed as many people complaining about it. And for me personally, I did get shafted pretty hard for the most part. I didn't totally get destroyed, but it wasn't great either. So I can definitely see where people are coming from. EX characters, right? Like the rates, again, going back to what I said about dreading pulling on banners. Again, I don't find pulling on banners that much fun anymore because it worries me. It genuinely worries me with these EX rates. So yeah. Expecting a lot more of those comments as we go through here. Tara says, not even my waifu will make me come back for this game. So I guess Tara's one of those people that still follows the game but doesn't play, or at least isn't telling us they still play. Alisad the King says, I will say it's fine, but this update could be as a regular update, not an anniversary update. 2 EX fighters and 1 banner is the best thing about this update. That's it. So I think that there's other positives to this update, but I do agree pretty much in principle, Alisad. I don't think that this is anything much more than a normal update. I really don't. But, I mean, it is what it is, right? At this point, we just hope that there's something more to it. I don't know. It does seem very, very kind of just average, right? Very, very average. We broke that down in that last video that I gave you guys. I told you guys kind of how I felt about it as I knock my table, but you know, really, if you take a look at it, this update, again, like I said in that video, not much dissimilar from how we normally get updates for these banners and things, with some modifications here and there. Not really anything much above and beyond the normal. So yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from, and I pretty much agree for the most part there, Alisad. Abyssal Heart says, I would have liked Joe or Shingo EX, but Shermie and Choi are fun, and Quick Mode is super fun, maybe next time. Yeah, those characters would be hilarious. I would love to have a Joe especially. And then as far as the characters that we currently have with Shermie and Choi, very, very good characters. We've talked about this. I wish I could do more with Shermie, but I don't even have her awakened, so I can't do much. But with Lady Choi, on the other hand, yeah, that character might be one of the best characters, if not the best character in the game overall, just in general right now. So yeah, very, very good characters, but I hope that eventually we get these two as well. That'd be fun. Dante Sparta says, amazing for those who get Shermie and Lady Choi before the first pity. Sucks for those who only get Gato, but it's a stingy event so far. Yeah, Gato right now is bugged, and unfortunately Gato is just kind of going to be the brunt of the joke right now until he gets fixed. I think that Gato has potential, but he needs to get fixed. So hopefully Netmarble realizes that they screwed it up, but we'll see. We'll see. I expect he'll get fixed soon. Samir says, it's good or maybe awesome for new players who join the party after that Big Bang collab with the Street Fighters, but for the veterans, it sucks. To be honest, it's not that bad if people think this 4th anniversary banner was shit, but still this banner was better for those new players, bro. That's my opinion. So yeah, I mean, I can't completely disagree. I had talked briefly in my video breaking everything down about how I felt like this anniversary was... It really wasn't that rewarding for the vets. The vets don't really have that much to look forward to out of it. But if you're somebody new, there's quite a bit that you could get from it. Like if you get Lady Choi as one of your first characters just coming into this game, like congratulations, you're going to be skating through most everything. But if you're a veteran, it's kind of just more of the same. And that's been the way it's been for a while. A lot of veterans are a little bit bored right now. So, you know, it's one of those things where it's just kind of constantly the same thing. And veterans have already achieved said things. So it kind of leaves the question of what next, right? So yeah, I mostly agree with you, Samir, on that one. Jamil says, my biggest issue with this, honestly, is the drop rates when it comes to summons. Again, more people talking about the rates. This update is just a huge disappointment. I don't even feel like an anniversary. If a collab drops next update, I'm going to be quite salty and angry at the same time. Yeah, if they were to drop a collab right after the anniversary, that would really suck for a lot of people. That would suck for a lot of people. But it's possible. It's Netmarble. Darren says it's just a normal event, but with 2 EX characters and a bit of repeated content with very little rewards. Yep. Pretty much. Shumani says this game has been good, but better than the other games like Marvel Contest of Champions and others that you have to pay hella more than this game. I like it better so far. They're also giving some fans the characters they want to see. So definitely agree on giving fans characters they want to see. As far as this game being more rewarding than others, yeah, I'm definitely sure it's more rewarding than others, but it's probably less rewarding than other games as well. So it's always give and a take, right? There's always going to be a positive and a negative. I think that for this game, it's kind of right. It's fine where it's at, but for an anniversary, it could have been great, right? And you expect great when it comes to anniversaries and gotchas, just because that's what you're normally used to in gotchas. But this time around, they just went for kind of mid. So they settled. We'll put it that way. They settled. Ellison says, wow, the people are very accommodating of the rate drops. They're horrible and unfair. Even those who are free to play to get to the A3 have to pay some money. If not, you keep the character stopped without using it. Let's wake up because it can get worse. Yeah, the rates aren't great. Again, you guys haven't noticed, most people aren't happy with the rates. That has been the biggest thing I have heard about this entire thing, but it's been the biggest thing we've heard since the EX characters dropped, right? So not surprising. Anthony says, outrageous trash. I actually think, given change up, that EX isn't that bad. Interesting. It's essentially just a replacement for what's already there. Generic EX memories are going to happen eventually. It's always a drip feed. Even event lacks content or cool rewards. That's the issue. So yeah, he's basically addressing how people are talking about the EX memories, rates, so on and so forth, but talking about the real issue being lacking content and rewards. I gotta agree. That's the thing. Like, these events, they just feel like a normal update. Like I said, minus all the Gato stuff, which is kind of what they added in, kind of the extra on top to make it an anniversary update. But outside of that, like, the rewards aren't that great, especially if you're a veteran. Like, they're just kind of stuff. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like they really put as much oomph into it as they normally do. And that's kind of where I think most people are at. And I think you see that reflected in the numbers as to why so many people voted for It's Fine. Because while it's one of those ones that's hard to put your finger on, right? It feels like it's lacking something. It really does. It feels like it's okay, it's fine, but it's like there's something missing. And I feel like that's where most people are at. So Rayan says nothing special about this year's anniversary. Well, there you have it. Carl says, I dislike it. It's the saddest anniversary unless the next collab comes, in which I hope. I don't care about Senran Kagura, sure. Or Final Fantasy is fine, I guess, but really, Senran Kagura? Would anybody even care? I'm sorry, I just don't think anybody would really do that. Like, everybody would probably be pissed. People weren't even really all that happy about Seven Deadly Sins. I don't think they're going to be very happy about this. I still want past collabs to come back full-time. That's never going to happen. So, just gonna move on. Yeah, past collabs will never come back full-time. Ever, ever, ever. That's just not possible. No collab, no party. Well, that's one way to look at it. Manish says, sucks without a collaboration. Again, more collab people. Jihad says, the bozos in the It's Fine pile are the reason this anniversary is ass water. No, not really, but sure. Okami, I don't even play the game anymore. It's just so unplayable and unfun. I'm so glad I stopped playing during the KOF X3. Why would you stop playing during Street Fighter? I mean, it's one thing to quit playing, but around Street Fighter? Man, some people just hate Street Fighter. I don't really get that. Hatham says, I was expecting something bigger, a big collab, or a new huge... We're seeing a lot of collab comments now. It's something huge that would get me only one time in a year, but all that we get are 2 EX fighters and SS fighters that no one asked for. Like, they can... See, I don't agree with this. People did ask for Shermie. People begged for Shermie. And the Choi thing has actually been a meme in the community for a while. So, I don't agree. I do agree that a lot of people would have preferred to have a collab, which I don't understand. Again, I'm a KOF fan. I'm here for KOF. That's just my opinion. But to say that nobody asked for Shermie? Did you see the amount of views on her reveal trailer? Everybody wanted Shermie. If you're a KOF fan, like, KOF fans wanted Shermie. I don't know what you're talking about on that. Rates, though, and kind of the general overall lack of anything really fun as far as, like, rewards and things, like a Ruby refund, which that'll never come again. It's pretty much a done deal at this point. Yeah, I do agree with you on that. But as far as characters, no. I don't agree on that. Pimp My Peon says, I have 100k rubies to spend on my favorite characters, and they are not in this anniversary. Boring times. If you're somebody who doesn't like the characters that much and you don't have anything to pull on, I can definitely see why you'd be bored. I can definitely see that, especially since you can't use Gato in the tower, right? Shapo Lang says, lots of people think it's fine, but it truly means they're disappointed and it sucks. 15 Shermie and Lady Choi show up at the wrong place and the wrong time. Now Netmarble's way they were doing is they don't have... What? Sorry, I can't decipher English from this line. So basically, he's talking about, I think, the fact that they've changed the minimum specs requirement of this, but at the same time, if you're running on, you know, an archaic phone, it really does hang up their ability to do certain things, so I get it. Comparing them to Blizzard, we're not in Blizzard territory yet. To be careful what you say with that one. Blizzard is... Have you really looked at what Blizzard's done? Really? And you're gonna compare this game to a Blizzard game? Little extreme. I'll just go with that. But in general, I do think that there is a case to be made that Shermie and Lady Choi might have been better served at a different time. But again, Shermie, that character's popular, so you can't really disregard that fact. So it's all right, just couldn't feel the celebration vibe at all. Yeah, I could see that. Lack of crafting stones and material, even 100k ruby. You're saying that you wanted them to give you 100k rubies? Is that what you're saying? I'm confused. Rates are just ridiculous right now, Felipe Gonzalez says, and I have to agree with that. They do suck for a lot of people out there. And then we are going to close it out here with V2, who says, it sucks because too pity, I got nothing. So that's one way to rate any collaboration, or any anniversary rather, or any banner in general. Say it sucks or it's great based on your own personal luck. So that's one way to go about things. But anyway, that is going to be what you guys had to say about the anniversary here. So overall, you guys, seems like for the most part, like I said, most of you are kind of in the middle with it. However, some of you are very disappointed, particularly about lack of rewards and rates and so on, which, you know, sounds about right. But anyway, you guys, thank you all so much for voting on this poll. Thank you all so much for commenting. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button and subscribe. And until the next one, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Continue.